One of the last things I really wanted to build for our home gym is a set of dip bars. Our gym is a small space, so it'd be really handy if they'd fold out of the way when we weren't using them. I got the backing plates out of some scrap half-inch I found at the scrapyard. I cut to length 2 1.25" round bars and 4 brackets that I could bolt through at the bottom of the backing plates with the bars that rotate down on. Thinking about changing directions on the dip bars. Originally I was thinking they'd pivot down like this from the wall and there'd be a chain to hold it at 90 degrees. But the problem with that is that it cuts off a big portion of the top side of the bar, which is what you use where the chain comes down. Instead, if I were to have it pivot up from the wall, I'd have a mechanism underneath to lock it out at 90. And I think that when I'm doing dips, it'll always feel like it would break and give way and I'd fall on the ground. So what I'm thinking now is that it's gonna pivot from the side of the wall like this. And I think it'll be good and strong, and it should be a pretty simple mechanism to make, I think. To make it strong like this though, I knew I'd need to gusset the 2 pieces and get some of that triangle strength in there. I used a torch to roughly notch out the round bars so they would fit together. I wasn't too worried about them fitting perfectly. I could fill in any gaps when I welded it. I cut some brackets that the bar will rotate on. One thing I've been wanting to try for a while now, and thought this project would be the perfect opportunity for, is to mill bushings out of a piece of UHMW. Metal rotating on metal kinda sucks, and hard plastic bushings I thought would keep the fitting tight and let it rotate nicely and smoothly. The bushings required some double-sided machining, so I tapped in some locating dowels and then cut the same pattern into the machine bed. Doing this positions the workpiece exactly where the CNC table thinks it is, and it's always so satisfying for me when they match up so perfectly like that. I typically try to get away without leaving tabs on the final pass, which usually works just fine. Sometimes not so much though, and you chance a broken bit. It was a nice tight fit. I could drop the bottom side in first, and then the top bushing would slide in from the top. I designed it so there'd be a 1/4 inch of the UHMW bushing in between the two metal pieces. I was pretty happy with it. Felt nice and firm on the rotation. And if down the road the bushings start to wear out, I could just make another set. I bet they'll last a long time though. To lock the bars in the out positions, I bought 2 spring-loaded weld-in pull pins. It had a little more play in them than I had hoped, but should be fine. The last thing I wanted to make was a little step, mostly for Kelly, to help her climb up on the bars. I thought this would look cool out of diamond plate, which definitely cuts best upside down on the CNC table, so the torch head doesn't hit the raised diamonds. I took everything apart and gave it a few coats of clear coat. I checked to make sure the bars had the clearance they needed to work while I was picturing mounting them. I drilled a pilot hole for the top bolt first, and then stepped up to a 7/16 inch hole for the 1/2 inch leg screws I plan to use. Before I started the project, I tested out the bars at different widths apart, trying to find out what felt best, and settled on bars 24 inches apart, which is perfect because the wall was framed with studs 24 inches on center. So I could center the brackets on the studs in the wall. One thing I kind of messed up on was I didn't leave enough clearance to slide the bushing into place with the bolt head in the backing plate. I just had to notch it out a little bit with a knife, and it did the trick. I bought some hand grips that matched the diameter of the bar. They slid out nice and tight and didn't rotate. Lastly, I got the step mounted, and this project was done. The bars would take up a lot of space in our small gym if they were fixed, so it's going to be handy that we can fold them away. I'm sure I'll be using the UHMW bushings again at some point on a future project. I'm happy with how they turned out. Before we had the dip bars, I would set up the two benches side by side and do dips between them that way, which kind of works. But it's going to be really nice having actual dip bars now, because I think it's a hard movement to emulate closely without.